Hi, in this video we're going to take a quick look at conditionals. So conditionals, we'll look at the if statement and we can write something like this. So a equals, let's say 2, and then if a is less than 5, print a is less than 5, and we can leave it at that. That's the if statement. So in this case a was 2, so it was less than 5, so we printed that. If it's something greater than 5, maybe 6, then it won't do anything because, well, that's it. It's not going to execute this line if a is greater than or equal to 5. If we wanted to execute, we can put in an else statement, and that will therefore happen when the condition is not met. And we can say here, print a is greater than or equal to 5. And we have that result there. If statements can also be nested within each other. So let's say we have a equals 10, and we can say this. If a is less than 5, and you can nest the if statements either inside the if block or in the else block. It doesn't matter. Either one will support it. Basically, this is just a code block that can contain anything you want. Any other, Python code you want, comments, anything you want. So if a is less than 5, well, let's print again. A is less than 5. Else, and here we'll do another test. If a is less than 10, well, we'll print and say that a is greater than or equal to 5 and less than 10. It's going to be between 5 and 10. Obviously, if a is less than 10 but greater than 5, well, if it's greater than 5, it's going to fall into the else statement. So it's going to be greater than or equal to 5, and here less than 10. Okay? And then we can also put in an else statement. And here we'll say print a is greater than or equal to 10. Oops. Okay, so because a was 10, we printed a was greater than or equal to 10. If we make a equal to 8, then we see that a is between 5 and 10. And if we make a equal to 4, we get a is less than 5. And we can test the edge conditions, like 5, and we get precisely a is, greater than or equal to 5 and less than 10. There is, of course, an easier way to do it than writing nested if statements this way. In other languages, you have something called the switch or the case statement, and you have that in, Java and C# and Swift and so on. What you don't have that in Python. The closest that we have to a switch or case statement in Python is the elif. So let's take a look at that. So we'll do the same problem again. We'll say if a is less than 5, print a is less than 5, elif. So it's like saying else if, and now we have to give the condition again. So we'll say a is less than 10. We'll print that 5 is less than or equal to a is less than 10. Now we can put as many elif statements as we want. So we can say elif a is less than 15. Then we'll print and say that 10 is less than or equal to a is less than 15. Okay, and we can even put another one. I mean, as I said, we can put as many as we want. Let's put 20 here and print 20. No. 15 less than or equal to a less than 20, and then we can finally put our else at the very end and say a is greater than 20. Okay, so this is how it works. Now obviously we can test out each branch, so we can put a equal to 3, it falls inside this branch here. If we put a equal to 8, falls inside this branch. If we put a equal to 12, falls inside this one. 18, you get the picture. And then the last one as well. Okay, so that's the if and elif and else statements. And that's the most common way of branching, of basically, having a conditional evaluation. So we execute a piece of block, a piece of code, a block of code, based on a condition being satisfied or not. The other thing is that Python also has something called a conditional expression, also known as the ternary operator. And the way it works is that it says the following. It will return x, So it will evaluate and return X if some condition is true. Otherwise, it will return Y. So it's a bit like saying the following. So if we say A equals 25, if A is less than 5, print, well, I'm going to put a B here. I'm going to say B is equal to A is less than 5, else B equals A is greater than or equal to 5. And now we'll just print B. So this is just a regular if-else statement. But we can use the ternary operator. Let me fix that typo over here. I don't like seeing that. Okay. So we can write this in a different way. We can say the following. We can say B equals A is less than 5 if A is less than 5, else A is greater than or equal to 5. And it just reads pretty straightforward. B is equal to this if this, otherwise this, right? And that's a pretty natural way of reading that. And if we print B, you'll see that we get A is greater than or equal to 5. If we make A equal to 4 and we redo, now this just returns a value, right? This is an expression that gets evaluated to a value. So we don't have to assign it to a variable in this interactive Python as usual, because remember, if we do something like this in the notebook, it just returns the value of whatever expression is there. Well, we can do the same thing with this over here. We can just return the value. So let's make A equal to 4, okay? And let's just print out what that returns. And it returned the string A is less than 5. So that's the ternary operator. It's pretty useful for having short kind of one-liners. But of course, you know, it can't handle blocks of code in here. It's really almost more like an and or Boolean operator in the sense that it's not going to return, you know, what the ands and the ors returns, but it's slightly different construct, but it's an expression that returns a value. It's not something to evaluate blocks of code. For that, you have to use the if and else statements. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.